it's going to affect any of the rhythm or the pace that Wolves would have needed to get for this matchup. At the moment, though, Wolves, a very defensive start. Once again, we see an early ward in the river there for SK Gaming. The neon skin for Vi hanging around in her bright yellow jumpsuit. And no low-level aggression really from any team in today's games.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first game well, not first game for SK, but first game for Copenhagen Wolves. Why not play just a little bit careful, because they have 10 more weeks of this anyways to actually play out. And a little bit interesting, Hercubot going to be starting towards his red buff, it looks like, so he's going to go for a level 3 gank at that top lane. As long as he can sustain long enough in the jungle with that Hunter's Machete, with those 5 health pots, he's going to be able to do that. And that will, pretty much lock down a really easy kill on the top lane. Like we're saying, we see Kevin, he has that red pot. They're going to go for an early kill on Neo Godbro, and he has to expect this. Well,
we'll have to see how Neo Godbro decides to play this lane out, and I'm really interested to see how he itemizes, what he decides to build. With this sort of poke composition, it could be pretty funny. Ward, Fairy Charm, and 6 pots for that top lane. Both of our top laners, interesting opening items.
It looks like he's actually going to be going for a Chalice first, as he does have that 8% armor pen. So he's going to be going for AD just to kind of sustain against Shen's harass, since it will be magic damage. And not to mention, he will heal up a lot more. We do see, actually, Godbro going to be taking Race here, just get kind of a little bit of a level advantage on his side of the map. And we do have Diffusio and the Test trying to go for an invade here, and they actually might get caught, because we do have Sona coming down.
We'll see how Candy Panda and Nif decide to play this one out, because Nif is going to get caught by the Glitter Lance. Mystic Shot goes out and flies just wide. Then a little bit of poke onto her and onto Candy Panda. And look at the damage there from Expunge. Just 2 procs of that poison plus 1 Expunge loses 50% of the Tessa's HP. And that's a non-sustained lane. He only has 2 health pots. He's not going to be able to survive much more damage from that. Svenskeren going very, very low, looking for that smiteless blue. Does manage to pick it up and starts to back away. It's a little bit of a risky start there for Svenskeren's Cho.
Yeah, I mean, it just really shows the power of Twitch right now, just with the damage he did. Because as you see right now, he's pretty strong on health, as he doesn't have a heal just yet out of Nif, but still, in the test down to half life. If he just gets a couple of auto attacks, if he gets an early level 2, which he's very close right now, if he does get that before the test, you're going to see him engage here on top of him.
And we'll see, there goes the stacks of poison. Expunge goes out, Tess only on 250 HP. Still has decided not to use those potions yet. He wants to stay in lane for as long as is possible. He needs to be very, very careful, because he's playing with fire right now. One good slow or good amount of poke from a power cord and that Expunge could cost him first blood.
And we do have Hercubot trying to go for an invade here, and if he actually catches Svenskeren, not sure he can do much. He's actually going to flank Lux here.
And we'll see he's going to come in with that Volt Breaker, lands and red buff flows, denting blows, plus the excessive force. Cowtoad survives for half a second longer than anybody expected thanks to that prismatic barrier. But what a great amount of burst damage from that opening combo.
It's kind of funny, because Bjergsen, I was watching him stream, and he had a Vi gank him, didn't actually do that. So a lot of damage going in the bottom. You get a lot of stacks here.
And Tess is under a lot of damage. Expunge goes down, the ticks carry on going. Is the poison going to be enough to pick up the kill? No, because the barrier saves him. I think the potion plus barrier was, just enough. But right now, Candy Panda is in complete control of this bottom lane.
And going back to us saying, Bjergsen, I was watching him stream, and he saw a Vi actually ganking him. He didn't expect the damage. I don't think anyone really expects the damage that Vi can put out, because you don't really see her much in competitive play. You do, obviously see her in
She's
solo
brand
queue.
new.
Yeah, exactly. And she does so much damage that it completely caught Cowchard off guard. And now he's down 1 death. We do actually have, wow, Godbro flashed for no reason in that top lane. Now that's going to be down for a while. And I believe Kevin did see that.
So Flash is burned. That was a misclick from Nigro. You can see the cooldown on the top right-hand side of your screen has ticked over. Twitch is slowly starting to, pull ahead in the CS numbers. If he can continue this pressure and keep Ezreal, on the back foot, keep Ezreal under a lot of pressure with landing those stacks of the poison, getting the Expunge down, it's just going to allow him to pull ahead in the CS, pull ahead in his items, and you do not want a Twitch to be ahead of you in terms of this game, because if anybody's going to be able to just tear your team apart, a Twitch with Spray and Pray can do it. Ocelot does manage to sidestep the Rupture and get away from a Svenskeren gank in the mid lane, but Hercubot now wants to come and play.
Svenskeren actually taking a lot of damage here. He should be safe. And, I mean, Svenskeren, he hasn't been able, obviously the game's really early on, but he wasn't able to kind of counter-gank Hercubot. I don't think you expect him to gank so early on. Not to mention, with that red pot on Kevin, he's probably expected to be in the top side of the map. But Hercubot, playing very well so far. He's playing very fluid. He turned that gank into, a very good item, that Spirit Stone. He's going to go back into the jungle. He's going to be level 6 relatively soon, at least way ahead of Svenskeren. It's going to cause a lot of problems, because Lux's Flash is still down for quite a while. and that just leaves her open to ganks.
Yeah, that's so true. As soon as you land, that red buff proc after the Vault Breaker in conjunction with the slow from that command dissonance, it's going to play into their favor. This is something that's going to be very cheeky from Hercubot.
That right
sneaking through the Baron wall with that Vault Breaker, charging it up, getting behind the enemy wards, using non-standard routes. We've seen a flash from Diamond Prox's Udyr in the second matchup of the day into the Dragon Pit, just to make sure he avoided any possible ward and secures that Drake. Hercubot's going to move into play here. Negobro will get taunted up. Vault Breaker's going to land. Look at the damage from the denting blows plus excessive force, and they just literally delete him from the map. I mean, no damage is taken between the two of them, and there's no other way to describe what just happened.
Well, that was actually a huge misplay to God Bro. He knew he blew his flash on accident. He knew Kevin saw it, and yet he still stayed that far ahead. He got knocked up by Vi and paid the price for it. Now, I mean, Sven Skarrson, he's got at least be able to get some of the XP in the top lanes. He's sitting at level 5 right now, but still, you do not want to see Nilly fall behind to a Shen early on, as the CS is just reflecting the same thing.
And there's something that you need to keep in mind about Vi in case you haven't played with her or against her. Every third proc or third auto attack that she lands with her denting blows is going to reduce the target's armor and deal a chunk of HP, percentage HP damage. It is absolutely huge, and we've seen it twice already. 2 ganks into the mid lane and into the top lane.
2 successful ganks. You have to make sure to say that, definitely.
Exactly. Lands the crowd control. He had the red buff initially, and Ocelot is just using that clockwork wind-up passive of Orianna and just landing auto attack after auto attack after auto attack. And like you said, the mana-hungry Lux is on the back foot.
Yeah, and because, he died early on, he was the first blood. He wasn't able to get that chalice as one of his first items. He's going back now to pick it up, but still, you're so far behind because of that. Ocelot has a little bit of an advantage, but still, he's a good enough player that he will turn that little bit of advantage into a huge advantage.
Yeah, the bottom...
Oh, actually didn't even go for chalice. Went for a Cage's lucky pick instead.
Cage's lucky pick. Gonna go for the GP10, feeling maybe a little bit of pressure in that lane, wanting to get some additional gold and, farm himself to bigger items maybe a little quicker. But this bottom lane, the Tess is doing well. He's holding his own, was forced back very, very early on, picked up that Vamp Scepter for some sustain, and he's keeping up in CS. It's only 10, but it has been 10 for the duration of this bottom lane, so that's not the end of the world for him.
And Hercubot going to take his red buff here. If they can deny somehow Kautar from getting his blue here, Lux is going to be shut out of the game for at least another 5 to 10 minutes, but it looks like he will be able to get it on his own. But still, Hercubot going to pick up that red. Now level 6, his ganks just became that much more deadly, and every lane has to be very careful here. They need to get some wards down to prevent this, because if SK gets any more kills here and gets any more of an advantage, Copenhagen Wolves won't be able to come back from it. Yeah,
boots of mobility on Hercubot's Vi. He's going to be motoring around the map. He's going to be running into a lane very, very quickly. And of course, as he gets there, going to start charging up that Vault Breaker, that dash ability of his, knocks aside the minions, connects to a champion, and just immediately starts pounding away on them. I'm interested to see how he decides to build his Vi, because it's a champion we haven't seen much of in competitive play. It's only been available for, I believe, 2 weeks. LCS Warsaw was the first event, and we only seen, I believe,
Shusha.
once out of Shusha in the mid, so mid Vi is going to be very different to jungle Vi.
I wouldn't be surprised if actually builds extremely heavy on damage, because he is that strong initiate, but the thing is, they can kill someone so quickly if they do land that. And honestly, with the synergy they have, with how long they've been playing together now, they easily will be able to land that. And if you kill Lux, there goes a huge chunk of your damage, and you're not going to be able to have any sustained damage, or at least enough to take out SK.
There's the Assault and Battery, slams Negobro down into the ground. Denting blows is out, plus the excessive force. Hercubot's going to carry on chasing. Vorpal Blade lands. A Rupture comes out from Sven Skarrson, and that's going to delay the SK members from getting in for the kill. And very, very nice escape. Hercubot is deciding he still wants to carry on chasing as Ocelot puts some damage down to Sven Skarrson, and Hercu is still sniffing around. He's feeling in a position of power right now with that red buff. But a nice escape from Negobro.
Well, that's what happens when you get that first blood. I mean, you're so ahead of items. You're ahead in levels. Actually, he's behind at the moment because we saw Sven Skarrson holding that top lane. But it gives you that confidence. It gives you that ability to roam around if you want to. It really gives you the ability to boss around the enemy jungler. He is coming back in the top lane to go for another gank, though.
And we'll see whether or not he can pick that one off. Negobro is forced very, very low. Going to just pop back into human form, throw out those heals, get herself back up to HP. Tear of the Goddess is ticking away. Hercubot realizes he's standing on a ward, but now going to pick a fight as Kevin's going to come in there. Sven Skarrson picks a very interesting route. The Vault Breaker comes out, one more stack of denting blows. The taunt goes, but manages to miss absolutely everybody. I don't know if it just caught Negobro at the tip then. Sven and Nego are just going to back away once again. SK, they're setting the pace right now. They're in charge. They're making the Wolves respond and reply. And right now, it's just playing into SK Gaming's favor.
And the thing is, they're winning every lane right now. So, well, actually, they're winning the bot lane pretty easily. They're winning the mid lane pretty heavily as well. So he's just focused on this top lane just to give Shen that much more advantage, because if he gets tanky, he's able to take all the bursts that Copenhagen Wolves can put out against him.
And let's be honest as well, Kevin has been, I don't want to say losing the trades. Negro Bro's been caught out. Now, as I say that, he's probably going to be able to put a lot of damage down. But up until that previous gank, Kevin was at less health than Negro Bro. He was on, his tower. He was trying to farm on his side of the river. And, Godbro was just happy putting pressure and applying the pain, as it were, to Kevin. But it shows because he's losing out on CS. All that focus on poke means he loses out in the farm.
Yeah, pretty much you can't afford to do that anymore once a Shen gets a giant spell as his first buy against you. It's just, there's nothing you can do. There's no way you're going to kill him unless he makes a giant misplay and we see the jungler come in for a gank. But Candy Panda, he's 1v2 down at the bottom lane right now. We do have Hercubot coming in for a gank. And they have the damage easily just to completely destroy Deficio if they do get on top of him.
Especially if you combine all of the CC. The Assault and Battery, which is going to be guaranteed. We'll see if they can land the Crescendo to follow it up. And all the while, somebody is completely locked up and stunned and, held in place by that massive claw of Hercubot. Spray and Pray will simply tear their HP bars apart.
I'm really kind of happy with what SK is doing right now, because you used to see in SK where the junglers will always commit to the mid lane. They always try to feed off as much as possible so he can carry the game. But just seeing this time, they're spreading it around the love, I'll say. As you saw, Hercubot in the top lane, now he's on the bottom trying to go for a gank the second time. And they're really trying to make sure everyone on their team is farmed enough and has the damage and is ahead enough to take that throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah, again, we find ourselves in a matchup where the teams are playing a little bit slower, a little bit more tentative. The fact that it's best of one, the fact that, it's almost an unknown. These are the first games we've played for the European LCS, and these teams are still getting into the groove of things, still trying to find their rhythm in this league, a 10-week league. Hercubot's going to go aggressive. A beautiful crescendo lands onto both of them. The Test gets pulled forward a little bit. Now we see the True Shot Barrage going down. Nif is dropped incredibly low. Both support players are reduced from their HP bars, and eventually nothing's going to come of it. It just wasn't really able to get all the damage down onto the right people. Deficio did have to blow Wild Growth on himself, though, and you can see that HP is pretty much the HP that you get from Wild Growth.
It's a little bit interesting that Hercubot decided to back after that, because they knew Deficio had to back up. Actually, they're diving him on the bot lane, and they will not get the kill because of the barrier.
Barrier is up, but the poison's still ticking. The test is going to go down to the poison. The barrier times out just as those stacks of true damage from Twitch managed to secure him the kill. Now with that CS advantage and the kill, Candy Pan is just going to be extremely happy in that bottom lane.
He's sitting on 2,700 gold to back with. That is a scary thing, because I know that the Test has an idea he has that much gold. He knows he has not backed yet to pick up any major items. And I mean, what are we expecting out of him? I want to say Infinity's Edge as his first item.
Well, we'll see how he decides to build. He doesn't have any attack speed buff, which is something you tend to see when you go
he has it with his Q.
He does. He's going to be able to go in stealth and get it from there. But, you generally see them paired with the likes of a Nunu or something like that. So it is going to be Infinity Edge, BF Sword, as well as Pickaxe, and a pink ward to be picked up. And look at the amount of wards in the SK Gaming team. Green wards down the list, pink wards for both Twitch and for Sona. They're just going to make sure that the vision is denied and allow Hercubot to continue landing those Assault and Battery ganks, securing them more and more and more kills.
And that's what you do when you're ahead in a game. If you have any sort of advantage, buy a couple of wards, deny vision, really make it so the other team can't get back in the game with any kind of ganks. And with that, you should be able to carry the game on. We do have actually Hercubot going for an invade here on Svenskers, and that red buff is currently up. And I'm pretty sure that Hercubot can take him on 1v1.
Take a look at the ward coverage there for SK on the bottom of your map. I mean, you can see the vision wards in the river. One of them is just timed out. 2 sight wards up in the red buff area for Copenhagen Wolves. Down near the Dragon Pit, there's wards again. It's just vision everywhere. And the more information you have in League of Legends, the more accurate and informed decisions that you can make. And SK Gaming are just putting on a bit of a clinic. I wonder if they're going to go for a dive. We see the Shadow Dash taunt. Assault and Battery comes down. There comes the excessive force. A good flash from Negro Bro. But immediate flash into Assault and Battery from Hercubot. Now they're going to carry on chasing. Negro is down to 150 HP as he manages to get away. Once again, you cannot catch a Needle. He's just one of those escape champions.
So slippery. She must be like coated in oil right now because they cannot seem to lock her down. But still, another interesting move out of SK. They're not seeing the top lane. They're not trying to go for that turret. We do have Hercubot trying to go for this red buff here. And I'm pretty sure, well, now he knows he is spotted.
Now, what about that aggressive dive from Shen under the tower? Is it, are they that far ahead with just the Chain Vest and Giant Spell to pull it off?
Well, yeah, easily. But the thing is, they don't want to take the turret because they don't want to allow Nidalee to start split pushing and start getting back in farm and start catching up and getting a couple of key items that he needs. In the bottom lane, though, we did see the first turret of the game going down for SK. They did take that, and the thing is, now it allows a Twitch to roam. He is stealthing and trying to go for a potential damage here. And does put a big ward down instead and backs off.
Yeah, just remove the vision if there's any wards there and make sure that, once again, they can't get jumped on if they decide to carry on pushing that lane. With the bottom lane down, the turret down rather, Candy Panda and Nif, do you expect them to start roaming or just continue pressing their advantage?
Oh yeah, I mean SK, they're going to take advantage of this. They're going to go for this mid turret or even top turret and start focusing on these group fights because they have the advantage for that right now. They're up, 2.2 thousand gold. They have Dragon still available, which I'm kind of surprised they haven't yet gone for, and that actually might be the next play coming out of their book.
We'll have to see who decides to pick up that Drake. It is a very important objective. Copenhagen Wolves, they're keeping themselves in it. They're 3 kills behind and a tower down, but it's not a massive difference in terms of gold. Items from Ocelot, double blasting wand, amplifying tome, sorcerer's shoes. Interesting?
Well, I mean, he had the money, wants to go for a little bit more damage because it looks like they want to start going for these team fights, start forcing some objectives here because, if you're sitting on 860 gold, why not pick up an extra item for AP just so you can get a little bit more damage? We do have Hercubot visiting the top lane yet again. He's really putting his tent up here, trying to make something happen, and I'm curious to see if they do get a successful gank here, will they go for that turret?
Well, Assault and Battery is available for Hercubot, so we'll see if we're going to see the exact same engage. The previous time, it was just a straight-up Shadow Dash taunt under the tower. Svenskeren can sniff it, though. He's hanging around here. We'll see there's the Vault Breaker being charged. Dashes forward, knocks all the creeps away, and in a 2 versus 2, excessive force is going to apply a little bit of damage, but it's not really hurting too hard just yet.
And I'm actually really surprised at how well Svenskeren's playing. His awareness is amazing right now. He's been in this top lane every time Hercubot's been there recently. At least been in that vicinity to help him out. We did have Ocelot trying to come up to go for a gank and make a big play on that top lane, but instead we have Hercubot visiting the middle. And SK, I mean, they're ahead right now. They have a stronger team fight, so they can just start forcing objectives. They can really start forcing anything they want to. Since they have the game in their own hands. The thing is, if you let the game go on too long, if Wolves get enough damage, especially with the Lux, who can just pretty much destroy your AD carry or even your support, they're going to have some problems.
Yeah, the problem right now is, of course, at SK, they've got this advantage. They've got the tower lead. They're starting to push some objectives. You can see them on Dragon right now. But they cannot allow Copenhagen Wolves any opportunity to pull themselves back into it. The Wolves are going to look to contest this right now. True Shot Barrage comes up, puts a lot of damage down. Final Spark completely whiffs as a flash from Ocelot puts him in safety. Now Candy Panda has picked the fight. Dragon is actually secured there. Immediately double kill for Candy Panda. The damage there from that spray and pray just simply melted their HP bars. Crescendo wasn't even used. It just dropped them entirely.
That's what's so strong about a Twitch. I mean, we do have the Bloodthirster now done on Ezreal, but it's too late. I mean, we have Candy Panda who has the money to pick up his Phase Edge if he wants to, and when he gets that with a spray and pray, how do you survive that when you don't really have armor built up? The only one on the team with that is Godbro, and he has a chain vest and a Giants, but I love the sounds when she's back in.
Yeah, Hercubot with the awesome recall animation. Gonna go back, got that Giant's belt, got 2 long swords, probably gonna work that towards a Brutalizer, as if she didn't have enough armor removal potential from those denting blows. Exactly like you said, almost building pure damage. She's got the Giant's belt in there for some survivability, but it's a very scary Vi right now.
Kevin trying to taunt Godbro under the turret there. I mean, they haven't really been successful in killing each other. Well, we'll say. I mean, they've been harassing each other quite a bit, but still, Kevin keeping up in farm, actually ahead of him quite a bit. And with that Sunfire Cape, actually Hercubot visiting the top lane yet again. And he's just really trying to scare Godbro away, just trying to keep him under farm, because if Nidalee gets, the items she needs and starts split pushing, it's really going to make it hard for your team to start going for some pushes.
With the amount of attention that Hercubot's been paying to the top lane, Godbro has actually done very, very well. He's gotten away on next to no life on, I think, 2 or 3 separate gank attempts. He's managed to hold his own. SK decided not to take the tower potentially until this wave, until this push. But, all credit to Godbro for holding out. He's only 20 CS behind, and Hercubot's ganked at least, 3 or 4 times?
I'd see more than that, but the thing is, what happened right now is really key. It's really important because they got the bot turret, which, I mean, that was a while ago. The thing is, they got Dragon, they got a double kill, they got top turret. They just got a huge influx of gold, and that allows them to pick up some really key items to start just going for these team fights, start pushing, forcing Copenhagen Wolves to get in these unfavorable positions and really take advantage of it.
I'm very interested to see what Ocelot does with his build. 200 CS on the board, 3 assists under his name, and it's a weird item build. So I'd like to see what he starts completing first. Orianna, of course, if anybody's going to know how to play Orianna, it is going to be Ocelot, and I just want to see what he decides to complete.
Well, we're going to see that things on Holy Grail done very shortly, and that cooldown reduction, the magic resist, not to mention the mana regen, is just so amazing on AP carries these days. And that, I mean, honestly, wouldn't surprise me if he picks it up very shortly, as he has quite a bit of gold on, 2,300 gold. So, I mean, it's just like they're completing so many key items. We have the Brutalizer now done, the Sunfire Cape was done a while ago. We have the Merc Trades, the Giant Spell done for Shen, and we always talk about, whoever has the most giant belts is going to win the game. Infinity's Edge is now done on Twitch. And we even have a Ruby Sightstone and a Pink Ward picked up on Nif. So SK just looking very solid, and they are controlling this game right now.
Yeah, they're completely setting the pace. It's just a matter of time before SK decide to group up and start pushing.
Wow, he goes for a Death Cap
more
instead.
towers. Rabadon's Death Cap picked up, so going for that damage, going for the burst power. And you know what? When you're ahead, stay ahead. If you have the money to pick up the DPS and you haven't been under pressure, you haven't been at a time when you need to worry about your mana as much, why not go for the damage?
And not to mention, I mean, Lux is the only AP damage on every team. Oh, we do have Test getting very low. Expander was already used. But yeah, once you pretty much take Lux out of the equation,
just look at the wave clear. They're huge crits. Every single minion just gets munched by that spray and pray. The Test forced to flash and Arcane Shift to safety in a straight-up duel. But he's going Bloodthirster Berserkers against Infinity Edge, Vamp Scepter, Berserkers, Dorans, etc.
Yeah, he's going to be very behind for quite a while until he picks up at least that last Whisper. And still, Candy Panda will be out-damaging him with the Expunge, with just the pure damage you can do with Infinity's Edge in your pocket. It's going to create a really tough time for the Test to really kind of catch up here. I mean, he has poke to his advantage, which Candy Panda can't really do, but with the hard engage SK has, it's not going to matter.
Great zoning there from Ocelot's ball as well. Throws out that Command Protect. The Shockwave goes down. Beautiful crescendo is going to lock up Deficio. Now they're going to turn their attention onto Kautar. He's the first target. Deficio will be the first to drop. A very nice final spark lands onto Nif. They blow a lot of ultimates for that, but they pick up mid-tower, they pick up a kill, and they're going to be backing away with that quite happy.
And the thing was, they didn't even use their ultimates together, so it didn't really matter. I mean, you saw Deficio, he almost died instantly from that. They even used a crescendo just to lock him down, but if they use a synergy that their composition has, the fights won't even we'll just say Copenhagen Wolves won't even have a chance. It'll be so one-sided that there's nothing they can do about it.
And this is the problem that we're talking about in Champion Select. It's a poke comp. They can't really do these straight-up fights. The amount of damage and CC and burst that everybody has, it's just going to melt through absolutely everybody. Final spark caught onto Nif, and it dealt a lot of damage, but it wasn't insane.
I'm looking at it again, and I really don't want to say it is a poke comp, because Nidalee not going AP. That's a big factor in a poke composition. The comp that I think they're going for, it's more about bursting someone down quickly. If you get Lux to kind of, land her full combo, you have the non-meta Cho'Gath, and then the Ezreal ulti and damage. That's what they're going for, just to eliminate someone as quick as possible. And then from that, even though they're going to be lacking in sustained damage, they'll be 5-on-4 at that point.
Yeah, so true. So 6-0 up. That gold graph has extended to 6,000 gold, one for each kill that SK Gaming have managed to secure in the last 22 minutes. With all 3 outer towers down and Dragon respawning very shortly, that's probably going to be the next point of combat. The next point of, I said this a while ago, contestation? What's the word I'm looking for?
Contesting?
There we go. They're going to contest that next. An engagement has gone up in the middle lane. We see a True Shot Barrage going final spark down. Yep. The Nom goes onto Twitch. That's a great fight for Copenhagen Wolves. They made that out of absolutely nowhere, catching out Candy Panda.
That's the thing,
though. Overextended.
I mean, making something out of nothing. If they land one Rupture, one Lightbind, and the person will die, and that's exactly what I was trying to say about their composition. They want to kill someone as quick as possible, and Candy Panda pretty much was the recipient of that. Oh, Kautar getting very low, and
absolutely blown up. You see in the middle lane there, Ocelot manages to secure a kill onto Kautar's Lux. They're going to carry on putting pressure onto this tower. If they trade the kill for the tower, it's not going to be the end of the world.
They don't want to give it up, though.
Attack goes forward, and they're going to defend it very well. Ocelot and Nef holding them off, holding them back. And something that's very important about that single target burst composition is the fact that Ezreal and Lux have got such short cooldowns on their ultimates.
And the thing is, if it fails, it's going to fail terribly, because Candy Panda will be able to escape. You'll be able to get his health back because he has that Vamp Scepter, he has heals out of Nif. If you can't get that kill, if you cannot lock that down, you have no hopes in winning these team fights. Yeah,
the scary thing now, in terms of the composition, if the Copenhagen Wolves pick up one kill, that's fantastic. That's great. They're going to remove a bunch of damage. But Orianna can kill everybody. Vi can probably kill a lot of people as well. The team's fairly squishy. Shen, he's built tanky at the moment, but if you leave him alive for long enough, he's going to start chunking you down as well. Who is the priority target here for the Wolves?
I have to say it's Twitch at this point. I can't even say that, because all 3 members have so much damage behind them. They have so much control behind them that it just... you just have to kill one. You're really just going to take what you can get, and from that, try to build some sort of advantage.
Whoever's out of position the most is effectively what it boils down to. So second Dragon of the game, once again going to SK Gaming. The pink ward goes down. They're going to start clearing out the vision here. And he's going to go out. Light Binding plus Prismatic Barrier. Final Spark
Shogat
and True Shot Barrage. But Shogat, did he feast that away?
No, he actually smited that and took it, which, honestly, it's not ideal. You want to obviously over to Cow Tower, but you don't want to give it to their team. So in the end, it works out for them. And they have to be happy with that, considering they were invaded upon there. And
a committed effort coming out of everybody from the Copenhagen Wolves. Final Spark being thrown out, True Shot Barrage being thrown out. Like,
everyone's
they
like, I want it.
really didn't want that. I believe we do have a replay available of that kill that Ocelot picked up in the middle lane. Let's pick that one up as we can see Negrod taking the tower. So this is Ocelot is just going to immediately delete. It doesn't get easier than that. QWR, end of story.
And that's what I was kind of saying. We need to see Kaltard pick up a Chalice, pick up an Athena's and Holy Grail, because he has to survive that. If he does, then he has the opportunity to turn around and burst someone down. But as he started there, it just got completely destroyed, completely deleted, like you said. He is going for that death cap as a second item with I can't even say the name right. Morello Nomicon. It's going to reduce the healing on his opposing team, which I think is going to be particularly useful, especially against a Twitch with the amount of heals he'll be getting and the lifesteal from his immense damage. If they can mitigate some of that HP regen and focus some damage down, it's definitely going to help in terms of picking up that kill. Very true indeed. But the thing is, they're going with their whole composition with Copenhagen Wolves. The Nidalee seems so out of place. I mean, they could have gone with someone else that had some damage. Maybe Olaf was banned out, but just someone to really contribute something to the fight. And Nidalee doesn't really have that. Yeah, you can split push with her, but that's about it in these fights. I mean, building a little bit tanky, does have that Iceborne Gauntlet, does have a Giant's Belt, but that's about it. And they don't even care about him because, you go ahead and do damage, but we're going to kill your AP carry, your AD carry, and then that way we're going to win the fights.
Yeah, she's not going to be able to offer a whole lot in terms of those engagements. The build as well, it's something, if I remember correctly, it was Soaz when he was playing at the LCS qualifiers tried a similar build. It didn't work out quite as effectively. This tanky bruiser, keeping up in CS with Shen, but in terms of the split pushing power, Shen's always going to offer more because of Stand United.
And not to mention team fights, he offers completely more. As you see right now, I mean, we saw this pretty much earlier with Gambit Gaming versus Evil Geniuses. He has a War Mons, he has a Sunfire Cape, he has 2 Giant's Belts for his team. That is so extremely scary that even though Ezreal has the Last Whisper, it's not going to matter. He has so much health that there's no way he can get through it. There's no way Lux can get through it. And Nidalee won't offer much damage on top of that.
And of course, he is definitely going to be locked down. Assault and Battery is going to be securely honed in on either that Lux or that Ezreal when they get into every single team fight. So there's going to be, that whole pressure of being chased down by Vi. If the Stand United comes in after that, he's going to get first slammed into the ground and then taunted up. So it doesn't really matter what items he has because it's not going to be able to apply it to the right target.
Yeah, he's really going to need to play his position extremely well if they want any sort of chance of winning this game. But just at this point, just the gold difference with how strong SK is right now, I just really don't see them as coming back unless they can make a really big play here. They really need to start controlling their own jungle. They really need to somehow catch SK off guard. You saw when Candy Panda got caught, you just got destroyed. They need to keep pulling that off. They need to keep getting a couple kills and claw their way back in this game.
Now, SK Gaming, 28 minutes on the clock. Dragon's going to respawn for the 3rd time relatively soon in the next couple of minutes. They're in the driving seat, but they don't seem to be applying a huge amount of pressure. Why is that?
Honestly, I kind of disagree with that. As you look right now, I mean, we have 4 members in the mid lane. We have Shen split pushing still, trying to keep Nidalee at bay, and it's really forcing, Copenhagen Wolves to kind of react to this. And the thing is, you were saying Dragon coming up. What can they do about it? Absolutely nothing. There's no way they can contest that. There's nowhere they're going to win a team fight, and that's just free gold for SK to take.
Yeah, just carry on stomping home the advantages that they have. You can see them warding up the Copenhagen Wolves jungle, trying to steal away the buffs that are available. At the moment, though, there are no buffs.
Oh, Lux in caught.
Assault and Battery slams Kaltard into the ground. Spray and Pray is available. Kaltard's going to flash to safety before Crescendo holds Svenskeren in place. Now he's going to flash over the wall. A good chunk of damage from that final spark onto Candy Panda. Everybody from Copenhagen Wolves manages to survive, but it's key, essentially, those summoner spells are blown, and the rest of the SK Gaming team are going to push now into this top lane turret.
And not to mention, they got 3 ultis currently out of the Copenhagen Wolves, and the 3 ultis they need to lock down some of these kills. They're going to get another turret off, they extend their gold even more. And then Kevin was just still in the bottom lane. We saw Godbro trying to head up there and kind of offer some sort of support, but it didn't matter. Kevin was like, hey, I know my team's going to survive. There's no way Candy Panda could die to the burst that Kaltard could put out. And I'm just going to keep pushing, keep the aggression down at that bottom lane, and keep one of you there.
Yeah, exactly. And the problem is, with those flashes down, these next 2 or 3 minutes, if SK decide to jump back in there, their ultimates will be available. You're not going to have flash to get away a second time round.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a wall between you to jump over into your side of the base. Copenhagen Wolves are completely defensive right now. They're just falling further and further and further behind. And it doesn't really look like their composition can stand up to the composition that SK has.
And the thing is, with the lead SK has right now, where can they even afford to fight? They can't do it in the jungle because they're in close proximity of each other that Ocelot can just get a nice ultimate onto 4 or 5 members and really just decimate your team. You have the Vi ultimates, which can go through you completely and knock you aside. There's just really no place that Copenhagen Wolves can fight where they have some sort of advantage.
To be fair, the amount of damage that Candy Panda took from that final spark was very, very good. He had some poke from the rest of us as well.
That was the Nom, though. The Nom and the E.
The Lucent
Singularity?
Lucent Singularity, there we go.
Wow.
Had made me panic for a second. But, it's a lot of damage, and if they can land it, throw a True Shot Barrage on there, Candy Panda might be out.
He got hit with a True Shot Barrage.
And it'll be, that might give the Wolves the presence to push forward. Blue buff gets smited away by Hercubot. I believe he got it. Yes, 2 blue buffs there for Ocelot and Hercu. So Wolves are now even starting to lose control of their buffs.
And then looking at that, even if they do land on those ultimates, you still have a potential of an amazing crescendo to come down to lock you down. I mean, as long as he survives, he has the gold right now. I mean, he's sitting at 10,500 gold total compared to his counterpart of 8.8 thousand gold. He has the ability to build tanky right now. He's 1,400 gold to sit on. He can build a giant spell, and then that way, there's no way they can burst him down at all. And that's all he really has to do. Once he gets that Warmogs, if he does decide to go for that, there's no way he's going to die in these fights.
Yeah, the amount of damage he has, plus the lifesteal, plus the survivability or the healing from Sona and all the protection, it's a very, very scary rat. There was a comment on Reddit that said, what was it, snipers shoot down birds and traps control rats. That was how Xpeke did it in the first matchup of the day.
That's pretty funny.
There's no sniper in this game.
Yeah, very true indeed. Dragon is back up like you were saying, and they're going to go for another take on it, and this is just increasing their goal lead even further. The thing is, Copenhagen Wolves, they're letting this game slip away, and I mean, the thing is, like, there's not much they can do at this point. I mean, I can say all day that they're letting the game slip away, but what can they do to get back in the game? There's not really much.
It's an interesting battle as well. When you compare this matchup in a similar light to the Fnatic versus Giants, you've got this battle.
Oh.
Take a look at that. Assault and Battery. Shockwave is down. Kaltard is just melted under the damage. That was 3 ultimates that chunked him. Shockwave, Spray and Pray, plus that Assault and Battery, and he was just completely deaded. Now SK Gaming going to turn their attention to Nash.
I mean, that's the thing. SK can afford to do that. Why not blow as many ultimates to kill one person? Because once you do that, where's their damage really going to come from against you? Really nowhere. But we do have them going for a Baron right now. They do have that Oracle on Nif, so they have that control of the Dragon. The thing is, we don't have Flash up available on Sven Skersen. He has that Feast, but it won't really help.
He's going to throw out the Feral Scream. Deficio is going to get forced to Wild Growth himself. Now we see a flash over the wall there for Ezreal into the red buff pit. He's going to be chased down by Kevin and Ocelot.
Oh.
A beautiful taunt through the wall catches him. Sven Skersen's the last man trying to run away from this engagement. The SK Gaming decided not to pick up Baron, but they're going to pick up 4 kills instead, or 3 rather, in that engagement. And great play by SK.
And then go back, take Baron right now. I mean, that goal, 10,000 lead almost. After this is going to be way more than that. Kevin backing up yet again, completely keeping up and surpassing his counterpart, Godbro, in CS. He's doing such a great job of just keeping that lane under control. You know, SK with this Baron, I mean, they have the ability now to push these turrets so easily, especially with that Baron buff on top of that. They have to be feeling good. They have to be feeling really confident, and it's going to take a miracle for Copenhagen Wolves to get back in this game.
12,000 gold, 11,000 gold difference. Final spark there from Leauge just for vision. You know, and great presence and great knowledge there from SK Gaming to jump over the wall, pick up the kills, and then go back for Baron.
Yep, very true.
In terms of the itemization, Runic Bulwark has been completed there for Sona. We see Phantom Dancer, Infinity Edge for Candy Panda. He's finally recalling to spend all of that money. He's 3,100 gold. So we'll see what he's going to be picking up. Do we see anything exciting in terms of the items, Jason?
I mean, they could be very ballsy. I mean, you do see the Banshee's Veil done on Candy Panda, which honestly is a perfect item for him. Doesn't necessarily build more health, but it's actually matters just gets the the free reduction in any kind of a cast that comes at him. But, you know, you've seen people in the past, they're ahead so far, and they can build a little cocky and build some items that they normally wouldn't do. But SK, I don't really think is a team like that. They want to show that they're an amazing team. They're doing it right now, and they just want to lock down this game. And
Morella Nomicon completed for Ocelot as well to complement his Void Staff, Athene's and Holy Grail, and that Rabadon's Death Cap. That, command shockwave dissonance combo is just going to be so huge. Some pretty good wave clear coming out of the Copenhagen Wolves, so they're delaying the tower pushes, but then stop the mid lane, while Kevin and Hercubot go on the bottom lane, and he fails the Vault Breaker through the wall.
He's probably like, no one saw that.
Yeah, we did manage to just catch it. 2 of those excessive force procs will take out that minion wave.
And I think you were mentioning, in the mid lane, really good wave clear, but that's only when Lux has an ultimate, and now it's down. Well, now it's back up, I'll say, because it's a really quick cooldown, as you see it right there yet again. But the thing is, what do they do when that Lux ultimate's down and SK has a wave of minions on your turret?
The amount of damage that Candypan is putting there, that's without minions, with that additional armor that the turrets gain when there's no enemy minions around, and he's still bursting it down. He's going to start, saving up all the money that he's got from the gold. 5 of the 11 kills is his back pocket. And once that Bloodthirst is completed, he should be able to just take out everybody on the Wolves.
Yeah, doesn't even need to go for a Last Whisper at this point, because no one on their team has armor. So when I get a little bit of extra sustain, a little bit of extra AD, now turret will be going on. We have Hercubot flashing in.
Well, CD Assault and Battery follows him over the wall. That's one of the risks. A very, very nice crescendo comes out. Obviously, Shen using the Stand United to chase in. Now, Candy Panda has taken out a red turret. That was the inner turret. Now they put the pressure onto the middle lane. Javelin Toss is coming out from Negro Bro, but without much ability power, it doesn't deal too much damage.
And Kevin still, he was pushing up that lane the entire time. He noticed Hercubot kind of went over that wall, unfortunately for him. Came in, Candy Panda stayed back, got that turret, and just securing even more of a lead for SK as they do take away yet another blue up. SGLT coming in, but it's going to be a little bit too late. And now SK, still with that Baron buff, with that regen, they can just keep pushing the test. That was just one combo out of Ocelot.
Yeah, QW, and that is how much it dropped. Just going to Arcane Shift over the wall and get to safety. Another Javelin lands onto Ocelot, but again, it's just not hitting as hard as it needs to right now. And SK continue to pull ahead.
We do have Godbro actually built as Xera's Embrace, has 176 AP to his name at the moment. And it's nice, but that's not the AP you need to really poke down a team, especially with how tanky SK is. Another wave clear coming out of Lux, but still, you're only going to have that so often, and SK is just really barreling down on this middle lane.
Yeah, we'll see whether or not the Wolves decide to pick some sort of engagement. They have to do something. They have to make a play. They have to, stop using their ultimates as wards effectively to see if they can take their buffs. Because at the moment, it's just, it's just out of reach. It feels like there's nothing they can do.
There is nothing they can do. You're looking at this, and they cannot kill anyone on SK. With their full burst combo, they cannot burst anyone down, minus maybe Nif. But he has a Runic Bulwark. He's very tanky now with that item, and has that Crescendo, obviously, to get away. So if you can't burst someone down and your composition's based around that, you can't win these fights, and they can't control any of the objectives. We have 3 dragons currently for SK. We have 1 Baron to their name now. They have 6 turrets to the 1 for Copenhagen Wolves. There's just really no coming back from this. Yeah,
Baron has worn out for SK Gaming, so that will be respawning within the next couple of minutes. We'll most likely see them trying to pick that up, and then maybe after Baron trying to shove these lanes down. But SK, they've showed an interest in those inhibitor turrets. They've been on the steps a number of times, but they haven't really committed. And it's very interesting that they're this far ahead, and that we've seen 1 or 2 tower dives up in the top lane between Hercubot and Kevin, but they haven't decided to go that deep against 5 members of the Wolves.
And they obviously could do that, but they're at the point where even if Copenhagen Wolves gets a bit of farm, they could probably get another 6,000 gold for their team and still not be strong enough to kill anyone on SK. So they're just playing it very slow, very systematically, as you see another dragon going down for SK here, and this gold lead is just getting insane. Copenhagen Wolves, like you're saying, they need to make some sort of big play, but I don't really see any possibility for that happening.
Yeah, it's so difficult to see what they can do. It's League of Legends by the numbers for a preschooler from SK Gaming right now.
Playbook, and they're like, all right, step 1, let's do this. Step 2, let's do that.
You can see they're pushing every single lane. They've got every single tower down up to the inhibitor towers. They're taking the dragon. Now they're stealing away the jungle. They're literally starving the Copenhagen Wolves of every single resource that they have, with the exception of those minions pouring into their base. And it's just how much pressure can the Copenhagen Wolves dam hold before it cracks and, SK flow through.
That's good. That's a good one.
I liked it.
And the thing is, I can't remember the last time Copenhagen Wolves got anything out of their jungle here, because SK has been in that in the entire time. They've just been denying, like you're saying, starving them as much as possible. Lux Ultimate used yet again to clear a wave, and you see a spear hitting Hercubot doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, nothing at all. That Warmog's armor is just helping so much, plus all the resist from the Runic Bulwark. SK Gaming, once again, they are knocking on the door of the Wolves, and they are trying to put pressure onto the Wolf
door.
Pack. I was trying to think of a Wolf reference there, but the Wolf Pack right now, they're behind the doggy door, and they just can't get out.
Or in.
Or in, whatever you prefer. CS-wise, it's pretty even across the board. Neatly a little bit behind, 303 to 348, excluding all the dragons, all the towers. It's a massive, massive difference. Jungler's relatively even, mid lane is relatively even, but it's just SK all the way. From first blood, they have been in control of the game. They're setting the pace, and right now the pace is snail pace.
And for all you teams watching right now, that just shows you the power of controlling the objectives, taking dragons over and over and over. There's a game with Dragonborns during the LCS qualifiers where they took 4 or 5 dragons and let the other team get 1, and because of that, even though they were lost in turrets, they lost in CS, they still came back and won because that kept them in the game long enough. It gave them that extra gold they needed to get the game back.
The thing is as well, what are Copenhagen Wolves thinking right now? They know that they're so far behind. They realize, the situation they're in. It's difficult to see where to find motivation to carry on pushing, because there's almost nothing you can do to pick up those kills. And it just comes from not being able to push early enough. They started to fall behind and could do nothing to stop the rot.
Yeah, that's the whole comp. If they can't get in those early kills, get that early advantage, they can't really take that the rest of the game. What's going through their minds right now? I can only wonder, because they're just so far behind. They're not giving up. And you have to give them credit for that, because they are still sticking in as much as possible. They're trying to get this game back, and that really gains a lot of respect out of me and hopefully all the viewers out there.
Yeah, that's for sure. Look, they're putting on a fairly good show, even though they're behind, even though they have been losing. SK have tried to make a number of plays, specifically as well with Godbro in that top lane. He just got away from so many different ganks. He just kept getting to safety over and over and over. And you think to yourself, if 1 or 2 of those kills had gone SK's way, could they have pushed towers quicker? Could they have shoved inhibitors? This isn't a game of what ifs, it's what is, and what is happening is now SK with Baron, hopefully going to push a tower down.
Yeah, no reason not to. Nif, fortunately, kind of weird though. Usually he's pretty spot on with all his Kushanas, but today haven't really been, or at least in this game, hasn't really been that strong. And that just shows you how far SK is ahead, because he can miss his Kushana completely, not even use it, and yet they'll still win the fights. We do have Shen taking away the blue buff right now, and he is obviously sitting in towards that bottom side of the map, still split pushing as much as possible, and he will obviously ult in when a fight breaks out if he really needs to, because he hasn't really needed to yet.
No, not at all. He's going to carry on split pushing that bottom lane. He's had the wits in for a little while now, as well as that Sunfire Cape, I believe, just ticking over, allowing him to push further and further and further. I don't think we've seen very many Stand Uniteds in team fights, because they simply haven't been needed. And the damage onto the test there was absolutely huge. So he's going to be forced back to start healing. True Shot Barrage goes down. Finally, an inhibitor turret drops as SK just simply strong on their way forward.
And I think quick shot, that is the crack in the dam of Copenhagen Wolves. That inhibitor will go down. We still have Shen split pushing that bottom lane. And SK completely in the driving seat with that second Baron of the game for them. They will switch over to another turret here, and there's no reason not to, because you have the Baron, you have all of your ultimates still up at this point, all your summoners, and you still can win these team fights very easily. Just going to make a play on this middle turret.
Yeah, that's so true. Kaltod, for the first time in a while, holding on to that final spark, potentially for an engagement, not using it to clear out the wave, just allowing his Lucent Singularity to work. You can see at the same time, Kevin is pushing down that bottom lane. Finally, the final spark comes down, deals a fair amount of damage to Hercubot, but barely scratches Nif, to be fair. Shockwave goes down onto the test. Wild Growth is up, 573 damage on that crit, and the test is forced out of the fight.
And that means that SK is going to go for a heavy push here. If the test can't survive, if he can't dodge the poke that's coming out, if he can't dodge the Asa ultimate, he is their saving grace right now. And even though he's 0-3 and 1, he has the items to really fight back here. He has that last Whisper to pretty much help it against he needs to. Then again, he's not really even fighting the Shen, but he still has a lot of damage behind him, and they need him to survive. They need him to last long enough in these fights to really put some pain down.
Candy Panda is going to carry on. Now they're going to jump onto Nif, gets turned into a munchkin, manages to flash to safety. True Shot Barrage goes out, manages to miss absolutely everyone. Kevin secures the tower on the bottom lane, and SK should be able to pick up this tower in the mid lane as well before taking the mid inhibitor.
And Kevin didn't even flinch there. He's like, all right, I know Nif is okay, and there's no point, or there's no need to ulti him. I'm gonna get this turret, open up another inhibitor for us to take, and then just keep pushing on. Sven Searson with that home guard, hasn't really been able to make any use out of it. Obviously, it will help you hold your own base, but at this point, it's not really gonna matter. SK gonna be taking this middle inhibitor. Oh,
take a look at that. Shockwave comes down. Look at the Assault and Battery down into Kaltod. He's potentially gonna be the next victim here. Sona was the first to fall. It's the second kill, and doubling the kill count for the Copenhagen Wolves, but it's too little too late as they lose Deficio in that engagement. It is a 4 versus 4 right now. Kevin's going to carry on fighting, putting some damage down onto this Nexus turret as Ocelot falls back from the final spark. The Tess and Nigo Bro are trying to chase down, but they simply cannot do enough right now. 12-2 up. SK Gaming have got a 20,000 gold lead, and they are unable to close the game out right now.
And after that last fight, the damage is completely down. We look at how much gold they're currently sitting on the back with 2,000 on Shen. We see 2,600 on Vi. We see 3,000 on Oriana and another 1,900 on onto Twitch. So they're going to pick up even more items and then just, you know, completely win this game.
Oh, we see once again Bro camping out this top lane, farming, protecting himself against those super creeps. The test has just been caught up by Candy Panda. Take a look at that. The poison's ticking away, and he just simply cannot do anything. Candy Panda didn't even need anything special there. Used the spray and pray, and truth be told, it wasn't even necessary.
Yeah, not to sound disrespectful, but SK, please just end the pain here, because there's no way that the Wolves can really come back. You know you have the game won. You have all 3 inhibitors down. Just finish it up, and then we'll move on. We'll move on.
Somebody needs to take the puppy outside and put it down. It is...
Oh, gosh.
The game is over, I am afraid. 73,000 gold. The items are like completely full here. There is nothing else to look at. Deathcap, Rylai's, Unholy Grail. I mean, everybody's at full collection. Finally, SK Gaming, with all of the super creeps here, look to put pressure onto the double Nexus turrets. The amount of super creeps is too damn high as the first tower goes down. Now Bro jumps in. Svenskero's going to be the first focus. A nice crescendo is going to lock up 2, allowing Kevin to pick up the first kill of the engagement. Now Kautard is the target. The amount of damage from Spray and Pray is huge. A good taunt from Kevin managed to land there. SK Gaming are going to allow the super creeps to close out the Nexus, and they pick up a victory going 1-1.
Yeah, it'd be a great job by them to get back in it after that pretty much devastating loss we saw against Fnatic. It was really unfortunate for them because they were winning pretty much 90% of the game, and it came back. But right here, they showed their true colors. They showed that they can control the game and take an advantage and push with it.
So well played to SK Gaming. Deserved victory. They were in charge from the absolute get-go. I'm going to hand it over to Joe and D-Man to break down that match. Have a good one.
Whenever there was a time when I would say, hit the goddamn turret, that was it, man. I like to follow the team and like to get the game. It was a boring game.
Not gonna lie, I don't know about Wolves. They made them look like toy poodles in that one. They absolutely destroyed them, and they took their time about it again. It was that whole systematic demolition, a slow systematic demolition in certainty, but SK really did show their class with that one, their control and everything. One thing that I'd say that if they can take a negative away from that game is closing it out, because other teams could have punished them for that.
I felt like